Good morning. This is Destiny Burns of Empire State Development. Thank you for joining us for today's meeting of the New York Empowerment Zone Corporation Directors. Before we call the meeting to order, I'll confirm quorum for the record and turn the meeting over to our chair designee. Directors, please respond present when your name is called. Annie Colarusso?
Present.
Blair Duncan?
Present.
Luis Miranda?
Present.
And again, my name is Destiny Burns. I'll be serving as a designee for the state and for Holly Light. And with that, the quorum is confirmed. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to Chair Designee Annie Colarusso for the city. Thank you. And please call the meeting to order when you are ready.
Thanks so much, Destiny. Good morning. My name is Annie Colarusso, Deputy Chief of Staff and Designee for the NYEZC Chairwoman and New York City Deputy Mayor Vicki Bean. I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the New York Empowerment Zone Corporation for today, Monday, March 29th, 2021. I will ask that everyone please mute their phone until you are ready to speak. Also, for the record, I will ask that anyone wishing to speak to please be sure to state your name before you begin speaking. I'd also like to note for the record that due to public health concerns and as authorized by an executive order of the governor, this meeting will be conducted by teleconference. I will also note for the record that the public has been given the opportunity to comment on the agenda items by submitting their written comments at or before 5 p.m. on Friday to nyezc@esd.ny.gov. I'd like to further note for the record that no comments were received from the public concerning today's agenda items. The directors have received the relevant written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask questions at any time. Before we begin with the substantive portion of the meeting, I would like to ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to any of the agenda items. So I would ask you to please make an appropriate disclosure on the record at this time. We will then be sure that you may recuse yourself from any discussion or vote regarding such item. Hearing none, we will now consider initiatives of the Upper Manhattan Empowerment Zone presented by Verdery Roosevelt. The first item on the agenda is the Cultural Aid Fund 2. I believe I'm saying that correctly. So Verdery, please begin when you are ready.
Good morning, everyone. This is Verdery Roosevelt. I am the SVP for Cultural Investments at UMEZ. Our first request is for a second limited term cultural aid fund, or CAF 2, of up to $650,000 for 21 cultural organizations. These funds will be drawn from loan repayments. We are 1 year into the shutdown of the cultural industry, and one key factor persists. The pandemic continues to eliminate earned income from our cultural organizations' budgets. These organizations have all shifted to online programming, where they have attracted audiences from around the world, but the timetable for in-person ticketed programming is still well into the future, and even then, audience attendance will likely be capped. Following the initial Cultural Aid Fund conclusion in December, we re-examined our cultural community to see how we could strengthen the impact of this initiative and broaden our support throughout the zone. We knew that relief efforts by the philanthropic community had benefited several of our organizations who received significant multi-year grants from the Ford and Mellon Foundations, totaling well over $4 million each. They had been excluded from the CAF 2 program in order to focus our support on less resourced organizations. 4 organizations in our portfolio still have direct grants from UMEZ and are doing well with their grants. and they will continue to be excluded. 2 other organizations completed direct grants last summer and are now eligible for CAF II support. We have 1 previous grantee who had ceased programming, but they reestablished that activity in 2019 and are now eligible for the CAF II initiative. Finally, we have been in conversation with 4 well-known organizations about support, but those discussions had not progressed to grant development when the pandemic hit. The result of this analysis was a list of 21 organizations that will be invited to apply for a CAF II grant. The proposed Cultural Aid Fund 2 is designed to help grantees sustain their operations through the current calendar year and maintain critical jobs. It will help organizations continue to deliver programming and engage audiences. In addition, information gathered during the grant period will inform any needed modifications to our direct grant-making strategy going forward. The grant structure is essentially the same, with minor modifications to allow the grants to cover the full 2021 calendar year. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And that concludes my request.
This is Blair Duncan. I'd like to say that, we feel that, as the pandemic, unfolds, as Verdery mentioned, there still remains uncertainty, even though there's, optimism that the, both businesses and nonprofit organizations and tourism will return in an opening in the fall. We believe that, this is a prudent approach to assist these cultural organizations, because even if we do have openings, it will be still more sporadic and subject to changes as we see how the vaccination rollout and social distancing is implemented throughout the city for arts venues. So we're pleased that this second phase we think will be helpful to these organizations, and I'm thankful for Verdery and her team for designing and proposing this initiative.
Can I move? This is Luis Miranda.
Yes, please. This is Annie Colarusso. Please move for motion for approval.
Luis Miranda moves.
And do I have a second? Did I hear a second?
Second.
Yeah.
Blair Duncan.
All in favor?
Aye.
Luis Miranda, aye.
And any opposed? Okay, thank you. The motion carries. Verdery, please proceed with the next item, the recapitalization of the Technical Assistance Fund.
Thank you. Again, this is Verdery Roosevelt. This proposal is to recapitalize the Technical Assistance Fund with an additional $250,000, bringing the total funds available to $266,098.16. These funds will be drawn from loan repayments. To date, the Technical Assistance Program has provided consultants to 39 organizations and projects through grants ranging from $20,000 to $50,000. The consultancies have provided a wide range of subject matter expertise. The resulting plan or findings have not only strengthened the beneficiary organization, but also become the basis for grant requests to multiple funders, including UMES. Finally, UMES also benefits from a better understanding of the particular issues each organization is facing. This simplifies the due diligence we conduct if and when they become grant applicants. As cultural organizations return to live programming after the COVID-19 shutdown, we anticipate that many will be seeking a consultancy to help them address new and specific challenges. I welcome your questions. And that concludes my report, my request.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the directors with regard to this item?
This is Destiny Burns. I don't have a question, but I just have a comment. I wanted to just take a moment to echo what other people said about the last initiative and recognize UMES for its continued support for the cultural community within Upper Manhattan. I think I've always liked this particular program because it helped me learn a lot about the area and the things that are going on, and I think it's going to be successful.
Thank you, Destiny. And as noted earlier, oh, pardon.
No, this is Luis Miranda. I was just going to move.
Well, thank you. I will now entertain a motion for approval. So moved.
Second.
And
Blair
fantastic.
Duncan.
Here. All in favor?
Blair
Destiny
Duncan.
Burns, aye.
Luis Miranda, aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. And there being no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved. Luis Miranda.
So moved. Second.
Destiny Burns, second.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. This meeting is now adjourned. And thank you for your participation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye now.
Thank you, everyone.